I work serious. And look at that bad Louis. And that's that I eat. And that's the video. Don't try to understand it. It's a feeling. So the other day I saw Tenet. It's the new Christopher Nolan movie where our new protagonist has to stop World War III. Shenanigans with time ensue. No, but on the real, it's a lot more complicated than that. Of course it is. It's Christopher Nolan. When isn't it complicated? He's one of my favorite directors, best known for the Dark Knight trilogy, Inception, Interstellar, Dunkirk, The Prestige, Memento. I'm sure there's more that I'm forgetting, but yeah, he's pretty well known by now and has quite the following. And this one is no exception. It's like he wanted to make a new James Bond film, but still have some crazy sci-fi concept. In this case, it has a lot to do with time, and it's called Inversion. Inversion, as I understand it from the film, is a completely different take on time travel. Basically, objects and people can be reversed in the flow of time while time still can go forward, if that makes sense. If it doesn't, then you're just gonna have to watch it to make it make sense. John David Washington was great in the film. I think he is a great actor in this. There's a lot of demanding scenes where he has to prove his physicality and things of that nature. He can be funny, charismatic. He was a great protagonist. Then there's Robert Pattinson. I thought every scene that he was in, he killed it. I want to see more Robert Pattinson in this film. And is just like a really cool side character in these kind of spy, James Bond type of stuff. Speaking of actors, the supporting actors were great as well. Kenneth Branagh's character and his portrayal really comes to mind, really sticks with me. There are a lot of intense scenes with him, and there were scenes that like really went there and you wouldn't expect that, and I definitely did not expect that from Christopher Nolan to tackle a subject like that. But I'm trying as hard as I can to not get into spoilers, but just know that the supporting actors are all fantastic. There's a lot of exposition coming from a lot of them, which is typical for a Christopher Nolan film, so if you're cool with that, you should be fine. I felt like with this concept there could have been at least one more scene or action scene that really showcases it. I mean, there's already like a scene explaining it, then a couple of action scenes involving that, and then like towards the end it's just balls to the wall, batshit insanity with that. And there's nothing wrong with these action scenes. I think they're all great, very intense stuff. But just that one little extra mile could have definitely benefited, in my opinion. But I digress. The way it all works out, it probably should have just been how it is. I'm no director. I was just simply asking for more, you know? And with that final chunk of the film, the last 30, 45 minutes, like I said before, balls to the wall, batshit insanity.
Balls to the wall, batshit insanity.
Maybe that's not a surprise because it's Christopher Nolan, but you're not expecting any of this. Like I genuinely believe you're not prepared at all. However, with that, there's a final battle, I guess you could say, without getting into spoilers, and it's going to be really hard to explain this without spoiling anything, but I kind of felt like there should have been a couple of shots or establishing shots with that to really get that sense of how everything's supposed to flow, like if maybe like an aerial thing, because I felt like the editing and like how that went out and the pacing with that, while it was all crazy and fanatic and how it's supposed to be and all that, or seemingly the intention of Chris Nolan, I just felt like there should have been maybe something spliced in there where you get a better sense of that flow. Music wise, the score was done by Ludwig Göransson. I really hope I'm pronouncing that right. If you're at all familiar with Childish Gambino, he's been a big hand in producing some of his albums. He's also worked on The Mandalorian, Creed, and Black Panther. And when I found out that it was him and not Hans Zimmer in this, It was like a breath of fresh air. It was really cool to see that. I really want to listen to the soundtrack. A lot of it's very intense. You would expect that from a Christopher Nolan film. But then there are things that done with the music to really touch on that whole time thing, but not in a typical fashion. It's like some reversals of the score, but then also forward-going scores. It's nuts territory. It's nutsy stuff. But it's really good. It's really good. I really like the score in this. So hats off to you, Ludwig Göransson. I saw the film in Dolby originally, and right off the bat, like the sound is right there in your face. It's awesome. It sounds so good. But that screening that I went to, whenever there was overhead effects, there was like popping and static. Everything was just fucking up. Which is a shame, because at first, the person that I was with and myself, we both thought it was intentional, because I already knew that there was like this whole time thing going on. I didn't know the specifics of it, but I thought maybe it was just on purpose. It wasn't like all the time, it just kind of meshed and blended with the action and the music. But then it was clear that no, this is actually not supposed to be this way. We thought it had to do with like time, maybe something was messing something up, and then like later on there'd be some kind of crazy twist explaining why you're hearing all this. No, that was not the case. So we had to go to the manager and let them know. They came by, looked at it, and they had to stop the showing. They had to cancel the showing because there was something wrong with, I think it was specifically the overhead effects, but I don't know for sure. It was just very annoying and weird, and I didn't really get all the information from that because of that crackling and popping. I'm like thinking to myself, is this intentional? Is this not intentional? Turns out it's not intentional. So because of that whole thing, they let us go to the IMAX showing that was playing right then and there. So I got about an hour into the film, things were finally starting to make sense. And then they're like, nah, see, this is not how it's supposed to be. Your experience is being ruined. So we transitioned to the IMAX, and right off the bat, you could hear the big difference between the Dolby track and the IMAX track, which is a shame. It's still really good sound and all that stuff, and the IMAX screen. The film was shot with IMAX, so that makes sense. I felt like if you're gonna go for a Dolby viewing, definitely go for Dolby, because it's so much louder in your face, but not in like an uncomfortable way. It's like you just hear more wider sound, overhead stuff. So cool. It's just such a shame that showing was just completely screwing up. I promise you that doesn't affect the score in any way. That's just something I wanted to share with you guys. Ultimately, I feel like Chris Nolan has made better films, but beyond that, I still thought it was a great time. The concept is just so cool, and it just really stuck with me. I really need to rewatch the film. It's absolutely bonkers, batshit crazy, good stuff. It definitely needs a rewatch and definitely deserves a rewatch. I give Tenet 8 out of 10 pancakes. It's still diabetic goodness. Seriously, go watch it if you can. Hey guys, I'm totally hijacking this review to let you know that I have a Twitch channel. It's twitch.tv/Saint Aldo. And guess what? You're not doing yourself any favors by watching, because it's pretty bad. I mean, shit, man. Look at this guy. What an asshole. He thinks he's so funny. Like, what's up with that? All right. I don't know. Pretty bad.
The Life of Pablo has some really underrated
goofy voice. Again.
Ghost Town fucking slaps, Mickey.
What an asshole. I don't know. Anyways, back to the thing. I don't know. Hey guys, what did you think of the video? Let me know in the comments. What did you think of the movie? Let me know in the comments. And as always, if you liked what you've seen here, give the video a like. If you want to see more, subscribe. Okay, I love you. Bye-bye.